hello there, and welcome back to Japan. I believe I'm live. I'm doing this from a new computer, hence the slightly funky webcam, which looks a bit different. If anyone can see me and if this is actually live, let me know. So, first person into the room, is it going to be Lejean? We haven't seen Lejean for a while. Is Lejean going to be the pick for number one? Who's going to get here first? I see there's already someone. Is it Lejean? Who's here? Who's here? Who's going to be first? Who's going to be first? Who's going to get here first? Who knows? Tell me who you are. We got two people. Wow, it's very quick. Yeah, we're back on the Saturday live streams, as you can see. So let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're here. It's Bubbles. First into the room is Bubbles. So Bubbles seems to have that magical skill that might come from me telling him that I was about to go live. Apologies, Lejean, if you are here as well. We've got a lot to talk about today. I'm at a friend's house, which is fantastic. And, I don't whinge too much about my private life, but basically everything's okay. Don't worry. I know I've been changing places a lot, but I am in good hands. And I will be, like I say, at the beginning of November, in a couple of weeks, I'm going to be moving to the new location. The new location, which I almost told you where it is, but I cannot tell you. I think I'm going to have a bit of fun when I move there, making a whole big deal out of trying to increase the mystery. I had a hiccup while I was saying that, so it became the mystery. This is really cool, actually. So just so you guys know, yes, I'm trying to slimline the operation. I know everything's been a little bit slow recently, and we will talk about that a bit. But the operations will be, like I said, the operations been slow, but we're going to be speeding things up. And I have finally got a second computer, a much faster one, the one that I'm doing this from. I only just found out it has an inbuilt webcam. I was about to go and get the webcam, and then it said it already had one. I was like, oh, okay, and there it is. So Google can spy on me when I'm sleeping and doing other things that I do in front of my laptop. Who knows what that could be? So, but anyway, the point is, this is a much faster one. So I've got one that I can do a lot of the social media stuff on. The previous one, and this one can be used mostly for sort of heavy lifting, the processing, getting the videos out on time. So hopefully things will be moving much, much faster. Bubs, no, the new location is not in North Korea. Despite my many appeals to Kim Jong-un, I said to him, we'll bring the channel there. We have to stop the human rights violations, and we'll bring the channel there. But he wasn't that into it. Turns out he doesn't listen to that much Japanese music. So yes, if you can tell me what kind of Japanese music you think Kim Jong-un would listen to, let me know. But no, anyone who says AKB, that's the obvious guess. But anyway, yeah, it's really great. Everything is moving forwards. But like I say, apologies. I know there's been a real slow turnover. I was looking at the video count recently, and I found that it's been on average one a day, but really inconsistent. But yeah, I recorded 3 today. I'm starting to get ahead of it. So lots of things are basically moving in the right direction. I know we have slumps and then things speed up, but basically things are now moving towards that point of stability, where we can really get things moving along quite well. So yeah, positivity is coming, but I've started recording reviews, and like I say, hopefully we're getting close to that point. Maybe from this weekend or just after, we'll be on the 2 videos a day line that we were on before. Obviously, I haven't had the input from Bubbles. I'm glad you're here, but I haven't had Bubbles and James producing videos recently, because obviously they've had their own stuff going on. But the hope is that will be another thing that will be coming around in the next few months as well. So obviously I've been carrying a lot of this just with my videos, but I really appreciate that everyone's stuck with us, especially considering the YouTube algorithms have made it quite difficult. I was thinking that a lot of it was just down to my failure for not not keeping the channel up to date as much when everything was going on, but it turns out that a lot of it is down to YouTube just being evil. So anyway, we have another person in the room. Hello, person number 3. So Drinking Boys, that's Kim's jam. Yeah. By the way, Bubs, I don't know how many people have seen the Drinking Boys video that you so wonderfully tote as being the archetype of Japanese music. So if you can drop a link for that in the discussion, it would be great for other people to get a chance to hear that as well. Hear that. I say see that, I think is probably the more appropriate thing to say. So anyway, yes, welcome back. As usual, I'll start getting into the meat and veg of the conversation when there's a few more people in the room. But thank you so much for everyone who's been quick to the punch, who's got into here nice and quickly. As I say, we are doing this. Well, I'm doing this from the new computer. This computer won't be usually used for the live stream, but in this particular case, it is something that I'm using just for, if you like, just as a test run. So I would really appreciate if anyone, if the sound's good, if the sound's better or worse, if the pitch is better or worse, let me know. It is much appreciated. I did instantly today, amongst those reactions that I did today, I've been keeping on with the Baby Metal, the new Baby Metal album. And obviously, with I've been taking a while because usually when I do the Bandmade album listen throughs, I do the Bandmade album listen throughs, and then usually right afterwards, I stop that and then I have a listen of the entire album one more time. Then I go out for a walk around the block, listen to it outside, so an inside and outside listen. Then I do a final video, which is like a conclusion. With this one, I've taken a lot longer because, like I say, it's an 8-track album, of which 5 of the tracks we had already heard before. So the context was a little bit off this time. So when I'm doing the conclusion to the Bandmade album, it's taking longer than usual because I really want to do a justifiable conclusion. I don't want that last video just to be me repeating the stuff that you've heard me say in the individual song reviews. But that is something that is that's the reason why that's been so delayed. But that will be coming around. Then we'll be getting on to the next Bandmade review. I'm hoping to talk to Harrow soon because I want to get a copy of Bring It, which I believe is the next one chronologically in order that I have to jump onto. So yeah, there is more Bandmade to come as well. Plus, I've got 2 Silent Siren albums in the waiting to be reviewed, and one of them is the one before Yuka, the keyboard player, joined. Feel the bias as I try not to be negative towards the album for not having my favorite member on it. So anyway, it's nice that we've got 3 people in the room, and for 7 minutes you've been listening to me waffle. That is great, even though I know one of you is Bubbles. Hi, Bubbles. So anyway, first things first, before we get any further, like I say, just want to repeat that fact. Thank you, everyone, for holding on through all of the problems. I know it's been a couple of weeks since we've done a Saturday live stream as well. The Saturday live streams have been broken up. A lot of things have been delayed or prevented or stopped or slowed down just by the whole way things have been moving. And with all the problems, well, I wouldn't say they're problems, but just a lot of issues with me having to like change equipment. When I went to Vietnam, that kind of kicked things off a little bit because there was a bit of a slowdown in doing the videos there. And then when I came back, but like I say, we are sort of moving. I feel like I'm saying this all the time, but we are moving towards that place of stability that will come in the new location. I think things have been sort of up in the air pretty much since we left the last Cardboard Palace, but the new Cardboard Palace is just around the corner in about 2 weeks. And yeah, like I say, I've started on the reaction recording and we're getting back up on things. A couple of specials. There's more special videos coming up as well, which is really nice because I really enjoy those. They break up the reactions. We're going to have an update of the Baby Metal top 10. That's going to become probably a top 15, I imagine, because we had 2 albums of which they had 5 tracks pretty much. I'm assuming it was about 5 tracks each. I have to go back and check, but that list is going to be updated to include the songs. Once I've finished the new Baby Metal album, it's going to be updated to include those songs as well. When it comes to the Bandmade albums, what I'm going to do is I thought about this because I realized the Bandmade albums all have they all come from a different place. They have a very different intention, all very different sound. I'm thinking that when it comes down to it, with the Bandmade albums, I'm going to do a list of my ranking of the order that I would put them as albums, because I do think they are albums. I think they've got such individual personalities. I'm going to spend a bit of time after I've finished listening to the last one and just put them in a sort of an order of how I think they rank, so we can have a conversation about that. And then obviously much later in the day we'll have the Bandmade the songs ranking, which is one that I'm going to have to take a lot of time thinking about. I have a lot of opinions on that already, but we're going to take a lot of time really thinking about how that one's going to be put together, because that's a big choice. It's been so long since we've been on the Bandmade train. It's going to be really great. We've got a awards video, which is kind of like a pseudo awards video where I'm going to be giving awards. These are not like ones where it's not like the Oscars where you have to have ones for best song and best band. I'm just going to give awards for things that I find particularly interesting, things that I think are worth awarding. Like reaction to which I have most changed my mind since my original reviews and comments, things like that. The songs that I found most catchy, the ones that have stuck with me, the songs I found most irritating. I don't know, but that might be a good one to do. Songs that I found most shocking, the ones that are really sort of maybe fall off my chair. That's going to be a really fun thing to do as well, that video. We got more things. I am going to do it. We've now actually had this channel long enough that I'm going to do that thing that so many YouTubers do, and I actually think this is a really wonderful thing to do. where I'm going to sit down and I've catalogued some of the most amusing comments that we've received. Some of them have been banned, some of them have just been skipped over, but I'm going to be going back and like reading through some of the best comments we've had on the channel because some of them have been absolutely fantastic. Yeah, there's just a lot of things that are going to come up. So like I said, I'm really looking forward to doing a lot of those special videos. I do think they break up the reactions, and I haven't been able to do them and like the same, I haven't been able to do the remixes and the re-envisaging, how do you envisage, because it's envisioning of the songs that I wanted to do. So as a result, those have also been delayed, but those are going to come through. But there is a lot of really good stuff coming on. But the basic formula of this channel, the thing that comes at the core, is the song reviewing, the song reactions. And so until those are fully up to date, until we have a good stream of them coming in, it's going to be hard to see that. Lenny, I am so happy to see you. Lenny, you're here. And yes, Bubbles is here. Bubs has been, as I've said to you guys before, Bubs has been doing his, he's got a lot of things going on his own, as is James. Both of them have got a lot. They've got proper lives, unlike me. I don't have a life, so I can do this. But those guys have lives, and as a result, they've been a tad busy recently. But I'm really hoping that either by the end of the year or maybe for the new year, they're going to both be entering the fold again. Like you guys know, James has got the Backer binge where he's reviewing food. We've already recorded like pretty much a whole series of that when he was here last time, but he's really editing it up a storm. It's going to be quite a special thing. So that's coming as well, along with all those specials I mentioned. There is a lot coming. We've had a lot of changes to the plan on the channel, but things keep on looking onwards and upwards. And I think it's like you said, the most important thing is the foundation of the channel. And so long as we get that sorted out, it's going to be much more stable once I've got a stable place to be. Things are going to get much better. So I keep on saying we keep on having our ups and downs, as I said before, but we are going in a positive direction. Lenny, beautiful background. Thank you very much. Like I say, I'm so happy that someone has allowed me to stay in their house. And thus, here is a curtain. Enjoy the curtain. Enjoy curtains, people. I think this is the first time I've had a curtain since I was in Obihiro. Obihiro, when I had that big pink curtain behind me that you guys might remember. So anyway, Bubs. Hey, sexy Lenny, busy trying to help Howard decorate the cave his kidnappers have kept him in. Man, if kidnappers keep you with curtains, that means kidnappers keep you with windows. If kidnappers keep you with windows, then they're not bad kidnappers, they're giving you a choice. They're giving you a choice. They're giving you options for running away. So anyway, what's the thing? So Lenny, actually Lenny is another one I wanted to mention to you, because you've given a lot of song suggestions. I've been recently, another thing I've been doing is recompiling the suggestions list, and Lenny, you've got a lot of songs in there. So there's going to be a lot of Lenny suggested songs coming up in approximately the next 3 months. I mean, I'm really, at the moment, I'm planning the space between now and the end of the year. Like I say, towards the end of the year, I want to do my sort of awards for the things that are the songs and things that have really hit me for various reasons, be it good or bad or more long term or more short term. So I'm sort of like that's like an end of year thing, but I'm very much aiming the plan for how the channel's going to move overall. But yeah, there's a lot of things coming up. But it's all really going to start kicking off once I've got a steady place to be. So, yeah, as I say, at the moment, all I can really say is my continued thanks for the fact that people keep on sticking with us. When I post songs and videos by bands who maybe are not everyone's taste, you guys will get in there and listen to them. If you're a pop fan, you listen to the rock. If you're a rock fan, you listen to the pop. And you guys get in there and give your comments. CMC especially, who gives his comments and just hates everything. The guy just doesn't like anything. He hates everything. He's worse than Bubbles. He just hates everything that we post. But he gives his opinion, so it's valid. Infuriating, but valid. So, no, it's like I say, it's an absolute pleasure. And at the moment, personally, I just wanted to say, I really so appreciated that you guys hang on. Now, one thing I wanted to mention, if you're a fan of either Baby Metal or Perfume, they've both had a lot of promotional materials being given out in the local convenience stores recently, which are adverts for obviously new albums in Baby Metal's case, and in Perfume's case, it's Tour and the new Best Of album. I've been picking up a lot of those free of charge, and I just want to say, for anyone who is on our Patreon, especially, I have to be honest, I'm giving first dibs to anyone on Patreon. I'm going to be giving out these sort of promotional materials. They're mainly things like small posters, special magazines with interviews. Obviously, the interviews are in Japanese, but things like that, they're going to be made available. And obviously, if you're on the Patreon, I am going to give you first dibs. It's no disrespect. I mean, I've been a big fan of channels before that I haven't had the money to support. So don't worry, I'm not doing a sort of financial extortion thing. But obviously, I have to give preference to anyone's on the Patreon, because that is a big part of keeping us going. But I've got, especially with with the perfume one, I managed to get a lot. Sort of walked in there, and they're freebies, but with freebies you take a certain amount. I was walked in there, and I found a particular convenience store where the rack with all of them is by one side, and the counter is behind you. And I just walked in, shimmied up. I'm gonna take all of these. I'm gonna put them in my bag. I'm gonna leave. So yeah, I managed to get quite a lot of the perfume one in particular. But yeah, if I have spares, obviously we haven't got many people on the Patreon, if I'm honest. But I'll give them first dibs, and if we've got spares, I'm going to be making sure that anyone who's interested gets a copy of these sorts of things. And it'll be nice for putting behind me in the brand new cardboard palace, because there's got to be cardboard behind me, but it doesn't mean I can't put a few little posters and promotional goods as well. I got loads of those sort of promotional goods back in my place in London that I never managed to bring over here, so I'm gonna have to staying with a wonderful friend of mine who lives in who was my old housemate, who's kept all my old stuff in London, like so many things. So I'm gonna have to ask her if she can send me the folder with all of that stuff over, so I can just laminate my wall in posters and promotional rares and things that I have, all the Japanese concert posters and things, and album release posters that I have back in London. But yeah, anyway, like I said, those promotional goods are available, and I want to make sure people get them. Now, I've been noticing there has not been a huge amount of comments on this live stream. Now, obviously, you don't have to comment. It's absolutely fine to just sort of sit and listen along. If you like listening to me talk, then that is absolutely wonderful. However, if anyone wants to get in there and say anything, please do. Otherwise, you're just going to be listening to me waffle, which is absolutely fine. But as always, if you guys have got anything you want to say, that's the point of a live chat. Get in there and tell me what you want to say. I'm just going to sort of move the camera a little bit just so I can try and find the best possible angle. That's a little bit better, isn't it? There you got a little bit more. Do we like that angle? I guess we do. I might get another beer in a minute. But oh yeah, actually I had a nice experience today. If you guys are just on a slight tangent, if you guys are familiar with Japanese culture, one of the things that is obviously is key to it. I know that most people, religiously speaking, in Japan are either atheist or Buddhist, but the core sort of underlying religion historically is Shintoism. And Shintoism is often not even counted as a religion because it has no god, no religious book, none of that sort of thing. And it's the only religion known of any kind that actually openly says you can have other religions and still believe this. So it's kind of it's like the most chill religion in the world, but it's a very localized one. Every town has their own little shrine. And these are really, really local. And so as a result, there is there's little one each one. And most people who live in Japan have a shrine that they go back to. And I have one which I've had for 11 years now. I'm a 100% atheist. I don't believe in anything superstitious, but I just like it for it's a nice peaceful place, and it's a wonderful community place, and they do sort of local traditional Japanese music and things there, which I will be posting some of that as well, because I sat down and listened to some fantastic traditional Japanese music today, because today was the Matsuri, which is the local festival. It's another reason why I'm a bit later than I expected. I was hoping to actually post a video before I did the live stream, but seeing that it was the annual Matsuri today, I was like, nope. I'm sorry, guys. I love you so much, but I've got to be here for the Matsuri. So I went up and I checked out the traditional music videos, some of it as well, so I can post it for you guys. Now, it was absolutely brilliant. So yeah, that was a real key thing. That's really cheered me up a lot today, because it's been a difficult couple of weeks. As some of you know, I've had sort of medical things that I've been checking out. I've been diagnosed with a couple of, don't worry, nothing serious, but just a couple of things that I need to manage. And none of them are STDs, don't worry. Just because I know Bubbles is in this chat, I need to defend myself against whatever hideous accusations he's going to throw in regards to that. He did leave a comment. What does this say? Have been dragged into an Irish fan's drinking song session. I don't know what you said that in regards to, because I've been talking so much. Maybe you mentioned that in regards to the Matsuri. No, however, I did just, the next review that's going up from the Baby Metal album is of a song that basically sounds like an Irish drinking song. I can't wait to post that. I won't say too much about my opinions on that, but I'll be posting that soon. It's a guest feature song. I think it's track 5 on the album, Oh Something or Other. And it sounds like an Irish drinking song. So guys, Be interested to know what you guys think of that. I'll try and post that tonight before I go to sleep after this particular live chat. But yeah, it's not been an Irish drinking thing. No, it's been a Japanese style drinking thing. Izakaya style. Get your beers out. Walking down the street. It's like all local fairs. The Japanese Matsuri is like a local fair you have. But with Japan, local business is so much more booming, even though the economy is relatively stale. So booming that you have all the local shops, all the local restaurants, everyone, even local families who just cook a good meal, are out on the streets selling, with their market stalls selling food. So you get like I always get my fried chicken. I get some really good Japanese style fried chicken. Get me a beer. Take them both, go down to the local shrine, sit down. They got a stage there. They perform the traditional Japanese music. This is what I was videoing. You got literally hundreds of beautiful lit up lanterns all around the outside. You've got these lanterns. You've got traditional Japanese music on the stage. You've got the kabuki theater. You're eating your fried chicken. You're drinking your Japanese beer. Ah, man, it's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. I would say that there's so many things that people recommend when you come to Japan, and a lot of the time they recommend you go to the bigger places. Now, Japan has had such a tourist boom that a lot of the more popular places are kind of overrun. And don't get me wrong, some people like this, and there's nothing wrong with going to the popular tourist place. You go to places like Kyoto. Kyoto is absolutely beautiful if you can tolerate the tourists. For me, as someone who just likes to get a little bit more into the actual fabric of the culture, get a little bit more connected with the local side of it, if you can. And unfortunately, you need to know how to search in Japanese on the internet. If you've got a Japanese friend, maybe get them to help you with it, or someone who speaks Japanese. If you can find a local matsuri, these are still quite big things, but each area, each one of these shrines that I tell you about that kind of has its own thing. It's not like they have like a national day for a matsuri. There are some national holidays, but almost all of them have their own individual date where every year they have a matsuri. And it will just be that little area that's having its annual festival. If you can find one of those, that's the best thing to do, especially if, like me, when I first found this one, you stumble across it. That's brilliant. That's another reason why I always say to people, don't get trains everywhere. Get on your feet, walk around the city, because you don't know what you're going to find. Especially, like I say, Tokyo obviously being the heart of this. If you want to find anything in Japan, Tokyo is where you're going to find it. But I still love Sapporo, but I've got to be honest, Tokyo is where you're going to find things if you want to. So, anyways, that's my little story for today. And I got involved as always. I got more stories from that, but I won't bore you guys too much. Main thing is, though, like I said, we've got a lot coming up on the channel, especially as we come up towards the end of this year. Incidentally, I've noticed there's not so many people on the live chat now, but thank you for everyone who's here, the 5 people who are here. Usually we get kind of a bit of a boost of people at 1 o'clock. I usually start around midnight just so that I can be in bed at a reasonable time here in Japan. And also because it kind of helps where we got people like Lejean in New Zealand and Australia who are also in the dying hours. And some people here in Japan as well who I know check in for the live chats. Oh, let's have a look here. Lenny, okay, I can comment now. I had to get dressed and cover up my sexiness. I just got out of bed. It's Lenny. Don't cover up your sexiness. Just do it as pay-per-view. That's the way. You could have your own Patreon. Lenny's Patreon Sexiness in the Morning. Oh yeah. I don't know how much you missed there, Lenny, but we've been having a wonderful conversation. And by conversation, I mean I've just been ranting at everyone for 23 minutes now. Hey, JC, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome as well. We got more people in the room now. Very good. As we get, sorry, I know I've mentioned a few things at the beginning of the room. There's only a live chat, and there's only 2 or 3 people in here. But as we get a little bit closer to having a full group, I think once we get into double figures, I'll start going over some of those key points again of what I wanted to talk about today. And as I said, that we went down to 6 people in the room. So, yeah, it's been quite an interesting day. It's been a very difficult week, but today particular has really helped lift things up, really help with spirits, and I am definitely working towards some really good things, like I say, in the next couple of weeks. But it has been nice to see. Like I say, some of the new music that I've reacted to, I did some of the reactions this morning. They haven't come out yet because I came a little bit late from the local festival, local Matsuri. And so a little bit late getting into there. I'll just have a little point here. We've got a few things coming in. JC, good, thanks. It's always good to hear when someone's good. Being good is good. Lenny, did you see the Perfume music director interviews? No. That's interesting. Can you put me a link to that? Usual thing, Lenny. If you can do that on the Reddit is the best place for me to find the links afterwards. Music video directors. Music. Why is video now in stars? Are these not videos? Oh, you didn't say video before. I actually just read the word video in, even though you hadn't written it. That's how intuitive your sentence was. I worked out that you meant music video directors straight away. No, I haven't seen that, but like I say, if you can pop a link for that either here or on the Reddit, although if you pop it here, there's a chance I might miss it. I know I've missed a couple that have come up in the live chats. That does bother me when that happens. Believe me, no one feels more guilty or sad than me when I found that someone's sent me a link and I miss it just because it flies under the radar, and then they say, hey, why didn't you do that? And I go, oh shit, I do remember, just didn't do it. No one feels worse than me when that happens, believe me. So on Perfume YouTube channel, that's really good then. Although I might just forget that it exists, so keep on reminding me. Now, guys, I'm going to keep on talking. I'm just going to go over to the fridge and get me a beer, because when you do live chat, the key to live chat is a good beer or two. So beer shall be brought along to this conversation. There we go. I'm back to my, I love, there's something, this is a really cheap beer, but I do love it. Let's just cover this can actually first before we move on. So Top Value, spelled wrong. Of course, like anything that's cheap, even if it's called Top Value, you can't spell it right. Top Value, spelled wrong. And then I love the name Bar Real. It's the requirement to convince you that it is real is that's always reassuring when they have to start by convincing you it's real. Oh, it's real. But actually, this, I've got to be honest. I think this is one of those ones where it becomes its own brand for, I think it's the Eon supermarket chain. But it must be rebranded from something pretty good. I got a feeling this is probably a rebrand of the Kirin, because it's really good, and very, very cheap. So let's have a look at some of the people posting stuff. So, Bubs, here we go. Have you been selling your organs again to fund your obsession with Oscar asking for a friend? Or Oscar Isaacs. As Eva, you be honest about what you call Oscar. You call her Oscar Isaac. Well, ever since the copyright strike, our one and only copyright strike came from Oscar. No, I didn't go to the concert this year. It's the first time I haven't been to the concert. So I've got to be honest, I'm taking a stand. Still love the music, but you got to take a stand. Lenny, one guy totally backs up what CMC always says about Perfume as if he is reading CMC's comments. Yeah, do you know what? I mean, this is the thing. Me and CMC, for the best part, disagree, which makes these fantastic conversations between us, usually quite heated, but as any good conversation is. But one of the things that really gets me about that is the fact that not always, but for the best part, he has a point. I don't agree with his points, but he has a point, and that's what makes it so fantastic. So when you say that someone agrees with CMC, I think, okay, basically the person who agrees with CMC is probably wrong, probably for a justifiable reason. Let's move through, getting some more comments. Bubs, the name indicates that where they found it in a barrel. Yeah, do you know what? That's probably a misspelling as well. Just take away the A. Random barrel beer. JC, bring me one too. Man, if you were here, I would. They're cheap. Cheap is good for me. There's nothing more rewarding than if you aren't working with a lot of money. There's nothing more rewarding than when you buy something cheap and you don't have to kid yourself. You go, genuinely, this is actually really good. And then you start inviting your friends around and going, have a beer. I know it says Top Value Bar Real, but you're going to be impressed. So Zimp, hey Zimp, how you doing, man? Welcome back. CMC, we've been talking a lot about you, by the way. JC, Top Value, yeah, exactly right. Well, JC, you added the E, man. You added the E. You're ahead of them on spelling. You added the E, and you appear to have added a space as well. So I'm afraid if your brand is called Top Value, yours is probably too classy for me, my friend. So CMC glider rules. CMC, I'm looking forward to your reaction to the 3 videos that I recorded today that are going to be going up. One tonight. I'm thinking because obviously I haven't uploaded a video in a couple of days. I need something with a few views. I'll probably post the next one in the Baby Metal album list along tonight just to get a few views in. I've got 2 coming up tomorrow. One is the brand new. I know this is a bit outside of our usual remit, but because we did the whole Korean thing, and a few of those artists are worth coming back to. Twice posted a new song recently, and I thought, okay, I'm going to listen to that. So I did that as a reaction as well this morning, and I got new Silent Siren, which is actually the Silent Siren song I did is a really, really old one before my beloved member joined. So interesting to see what my reactions will be to those. But yeah, actually, I've been really enjoying the songs that have come up here. So there's some really great stuff. And just to cover your point, CMC with Glider, there will be more Peggies. Don't worry, Peggies are always going to be on here. We don't get a huge amount of views for them, but there's going to be more. I'm going to have to give a little quit on Polka Dot Stingray for a moment because I know their fame's starting to build up, and I've heard a lot about copyright strikes coming in related to their material. I've got so many hiccups happening right now because I'm talking really fast and I'm still drinking. But anyway, yes. So when is the album revealed? Brand New Mate. So Brand New Mate is the one that. Do you mean like the conclusion to that? Because the conclusion, that one, I was saying earlier in this actual conversation, I've been sitting on that one a little bit. Now, the reason I've been sitting on that is because of the fact that of an 8-track album, we had listened to 5 tracks of that before. So we're only listening to 3 of them really with fresh ears. So I needed time to sit down, listen to the album as an album, go over it, give it a few listens, really, give it a proper work over. And I've been finding it kind of harder to sum up than I thought. I didn't want to just sort of post one which was just an amalgamation of all my previous opinions. I wanted to post something which was a genuine conclusion. A genuine, real thought on how would I have approached this album if I was hearing it for the first time? How would I approach this album in chronological order or listen to it now as an album? Obviously, I've picked it up track by track, which maybe hasn't been the best way. It's been sort of good for the sake of what we do here, but not the best way. So the album review is going to take a little bit of time. I'm hoping to get that one posted early next week, maybe Monday or Tuesday. But I know a lot of people have been waiting to hear what the conclusion has been on that. So that will be coming around as well. So it seems a shame he failed on that. Then he changed it. What is your YouTube channel name? Fail. What did I fail on? One music director said, I didn't read that, Lenny. One music director said his idea for one video was to make everything around Perfume as boring as possible so that Perfume themselves appear more I've got to assume that's the one with the bubbles, isn't it? No, not Bubbles. Not Bubbles, who's in the chat, Bubbles, but the one with the bubbles happening. Yeah, I mean, as I say, I'm more than willing to accept that. We were actually using the CMC comparison. I'm willing to accept that a lot of people do not like their music. And there are times when I hear their music and I go, okay, well, this one sounds a bit samey, and it becomes a bit difficult to really explain with some of them why they're good. But when they work, they really work. And when they're not at their best, they're at least palatable. They never deliver an absolute bomb, in my opinion. It's just kind of like always somewhere between palatable or disappointing. And wow, that is an absolute earworm for the ages. So it's a little bit of a difficult one, that, but don't give CMC any fuel. He doesn't need any more ammunition than he's already got. JC, what is your YouTube channel name? Jay, you're on the channel. You're on the channel. Can you not see the channel name? Spark a breakdown, my friend. What do you think? I will forgive you for that. I will forgive you that. But maybe now you owe me one beer. The cheap one. The cheap beer. Everyone for the cheap beer. Okay. Don't subscribe and hit that bell. Thank you. Well, you did find it then. Oh, okay. We'll take away that beer that you owe me. Now I still owe you that beer now. So let's have a look here. UK medical student. Where is this going to go? All you need is some TLC and vitamin. What I'm trying to say is, well, many people do, but thank you anyway. So seriously, aka Baron of Bontempi. Unfortunately, it's too late to rename everything into that name. But if we could, wouldn't that be amazing? If everything became Baron of Bontempi, no one would know what we were talking about, but it'd be fantastic anyway. So we're not going to do that. Sorry. But you can keep on calling me that. That's fine. I'm going to start some free. Well, thanks, Happy. You do that. You do that, and we'll call your friends at the Republican Party. So, evil Babs, come on, Babs. Name is Harry Potter's. Yes, no, but yes, but no. I mean, I need the roof. I need the slanted roof. You know, to look like I'm under the. I'm not under the stairs, so I can't do that. And like, thank you. But can everyone follow JC's example on this? JC are one like. So how can we have so many people watching and no one pressing the button? The button, people. So, oh no, what's this? Doilies run. Oh, okay. All right. So we're going for aesthetics here. Okay. Yeah, make me. I just want a big shout out to UK medical student because thanks. I guess that deserves a thank you. So thank you for whatever that is. Lenny, last time I gave CMC a compliment. Last time I gave myself like I say, don't fuel his ego. Don't fuel his ego. That's the last thing you need to do. All right, we've got more people. Oh, there you go. There's some more likes. Thank you for everyone joining in. Right, so now I've got you all here. Let's have a little chat about some of the things that I wanted to mention. We always get to this point where there's enough people to talk to, and then suddenly there's so much conversation that I can't keep up with it. But I'm going to run through the points again. So, like I say, obviously, coming into November, we're going to have a bit more of a steady base for doing things and for putting these out. And the new computer that I've got here is going to make things much faster. Again, big thanks to everyone who's on the Patreon. Now, just before I talk about the upcoming content, let's just also mention with the Patreon that we got a lot of sort of free advertising materials have been coming out in Japan recently that I've been trying to pick up. So there's been a lot of free for both Perfume and Baby Metal, who are like the two sort of artists who get the most advertising. There's been a lot of free sort of advertising goods coming out at the moment, sort of like freebie magazines with interviews, like the mini like advertising posters for concerts and things. I've been picking them up. I've been going into where they are free in the convenience store and just taking more than you're really supposed to and walking out with them. And so, like I said, they're going to be on first dibs offers for anyone who's on the Patreon. But obviously, I managed to get quite a few. So if you're not on the Patreon, you'll probably still have dibs on them, and probably in the next live stream that will come up. But yeah, there are some of those free promotional materials. I've picked them up. They're exclusively only available in Japan. So I've got them for you guys, and I'm willing to ship them out to you, send them out. So obviously that's another reason why Patreon people come first, because that will be at my expense. So if you're supporting the channel, then I will support you with lovely goods. But like I say, if we run out, there will still be. If we run out of people on the Patreon, there'll still probably be goods left over for other people. So hey, even if you're not supporting the channel, I'll still probably just send you one anyway. But yeah, first tips for anyone who's on the Patreon. Let's have a look at some of the comments before I move on to talking about the content side of things. So what we got here, Lenny. I thought back of being in Japan, he would be Earl of Electoner. Oh yeah, actually, do you know what I was doing a concert, and one of my very good friends, she plays. They call it a lecton, don't they? Basically, it's just in England we call it an electric organ, which sounds like what they replace your heart with if you have a bypass. But we call it an electric organ, but they call it like an electon. I think that's a general term that's used in some countries. But yeah, that is very popular actually here. I don't know why, but that instrument is very popular here. But if you were talking about Bontempi, then electon wouldn't be too far off. JC, no problem in South Africa. I have high quality beer. JC, what's the most popular beer in South Africa? But also, I mean, is it a South African beer that's most popular? Because if it's not a South African beer, then what's the best South African beer? So I guess that could be two questions on one. But what's the most popular beer in South Africa, and what's the most popular South African beer? Maybe that's one answer, maybe that's two. Let me know. I love to hear about international beers. I really do. So CMC extreme extreme. I give you one little thing to focus on, and you just oh, here we go. Oh, UK medical students giving us more wonderful sexual conversation. that's a wonderful offer. I got to be honest, that is a wonderful offer. But fortunately, I will be enjoying time with myself. So, Lenny, Electone is the trademark used for electronic organs produced by is. There you go. I didn't actually know that I had the first proper like polyphonic keyboard I had growing up, because I started on piano keyboard and actually a local church organ. My parents took me to church when I was a child, even though I'm about as atheist as a human being can be. But when I was a child, they took me to church a lot, and I did play on the church organ there actually. So I started with keys, but I had Yamaha keyboards growing up. The very first keyboard I had was a little Casio VL1, but if you guys know your old musical instruments, you'll know that that's an 8-bit monophonic keyboard. You cannot press more than one button at once, but God, was that thing so awful. It was brilliant. And later on, I went on eBay and I bought like 3 of them just so I could do like multiple arrangements of them with my band. Wonderful instrument. But anyway, I grew up with Yamaha keyboards, but I did not know that was a product name that they had used. But anyway, fantastic stuff. Thank you for letting me know that. I never knew that. My friend in Japan, her Electone is not a Yamaha, so that kind of just shows how the whole thing's come into sort of like common use, kind of like how they refer to vacuum cleaners as Hoovers. They're all Hoovers, but Hoover's just a brand name, kind of like that. Let's have a look here. Would also like your PIN number and okay. Bubs is responding to our medical student friend. Would also like your PIN number, a mother's maiden name, and a credit card number for a 30-day free trial. After which you have to cancel it before the free trial ends, or you'll get an automatic renewal. And remember, you have to give a 45-day notice of cancellation. Sign up for your 30-day free trial now. Yeah. I used to. Anyone who doesn't know, I used to work with Bubbles, and we had to work with a lot of finance. It's Mr. Happy, when you fine. I'll go with that. I'll make sure that's added to the dictionary on my next revision. Bubs, it's not a doily. Let's get away. Oh my god, it's getting like this now. Wow, this is the most this is the most amazing level of trolling we're getting today. It's not even good though. I miss the days when we used to have good trolling. What happened to good trolling, people? What happened to good trolling? When trolling was funny, when people weren't just copying and pasting from their own selection. What happened to the good old days when people actually thought about it first of all? Zimph, I totally agree. Well, don't worry. Eventually we will weed out the wheat from the chaff, so to speak. So what can we do? Let's have a look. We have everything. I'm trying to wait a second. I'm trying to work out how we control there must be a button for controlling the trolling, if you know what I'm saying. Controlling the trolling. I cannot find it, but we'll get there. Oh my god, so many things have come up. Wait a second, guys. I need to read this. Yes, that's pretty much right, CMC. That is a great song. Can I just be the first person to stand up for that song? It is a fantastic song. It's one of those songs that gets stuck in your head ridiculously all the time. Friends today. Yes, these are not CMC's friends. I think CMC is from a much classier level of trolling. Him and JWS are a much higher level of trolling than this. Play hit. Oh, do you mean when you say Black Label? I mean, in Japan, you say Black Label and we think Sapporo Black Label. But is that actually the South African brand? South African and Milk Stout is second. Milk Stout. That sounds amazing. I don't actually know anything about Milk Stout, but it sounds like it just sounds like naturally it would work anyway. So let's have a look here. No Castle beer. Oh, you guys are clearly more familiar with South African beverages than I am. So we're coming up to a 45-minute line. Just want to give Again, a big shout out to everyone's here. I think I should probably get in with talking about the third place. I'm going to get in with talking about the content anyway, because I did say that I was going to do that. So just to reiterate, apologies to anyone who's here from Dot. I'll just quickly run through this again. Coming up, we've got a lot of things coming up that I've mentioned in part, but hopefully we're looking to get Bubbles and James back on to uploading material for their particular programs by the end of the year, or either for New Year or by the end of the year. But obviously they have lives and the things that they need to do in the meantime. As you guys know, James recorded his entire series of the Baka Binge, where he eats and drinks Japanese food and drink, sometimes with me, sometimes on his own. He recorded that while he was here last time in Japan, but he needs a bit of time to edit it down because he's recorded it on multiple cameras. There's a big, like, free camera shoot he's used for most of it. So that's going to be a really interesting one. On top of that, we have specials coming out, which is going to include an update of the Baby Metal Top 10 to include the songs from Metal Galaxy. Once we finish listening to that, we're going to have a ranking for all of the Bandmade albums. I'm going to do a list for that. So it'll be all of the Bandmade albums in what I regard as a quality order, because they're so different. They all have such different backstories. It makes a very interesting thing to do. And then obviously, eventually, towards the end of the year, hopefully we'll have the Bandmade song top 20. I think it's going to be. That's going to be a very difficult one to do. So I'm going to need quite a while to do that. On top of that, we're going to have a little awards system where we're going to be giving out just sort of silly awards in a video for songs that have had like effects, like the most catchy one, the one which I was most wrong about in my initial reaction. Sort of songs that were most shocking, the ones that I think were best written, things like that. Sort of silly awards that are more just for interest, for things that I really want to give a shout out to. And then further on, we're going to have a video where we're going to read through. We've had so many comments on this channel. I've marked down some of the best ones. We're going to have a video where I'm going to read through and respond to some of the very weirdest and best comments that we've had on this channel. So there's going to be a lot of like little specials and extras coming up, as well as the updated, like I say, I think I already mentioned, is the updated Baby Metal Top 10. So there's a lot of things coming up. Let's have a look and see what everyone else has been saying on here. So Keksik, oh hi, I am Russian and always want to meet an American. Yeah, come to the wrong place. I do apologize. It's not an American here. I apologize here. So JC, yeah. Do I have to buy Viagra to watch James eat? No, you don't. You don't, but oh wow, I wish we'd recorded it in 3D now. That would be amazing. The Glider Award, a song most wrong about. In some way, I want to appease you about the whole glider thing, but I just can't. I've listened to it again and I feel happy. It's a good song, but it's not on that level. Not on that level. So look, simply 30 seconds short. Watch then for. Oh, right, you're responding to that thing which is directly above. Yeah, we are getting extremely high a level of trolling today, but it is like really low quality trolling. It's not like usually. Like I said, I miss the days of good quality trolling, and the trolling just seems a bit lackluster today. So as the trolling levels have increased, I might work on how to block anyone who's obviously a troll from the conversation. So I'll do a little bit of trolling research just to cover for that in future. But apologies for the level of trolling. It's not like it used to be. It used to be funny trolling. People used to come in and say stuff that was amusing. We could all have a laugh at it. But now it's just kind of like lazy stuff. Right click and select ban. My computer's still set to Japanese actually. So I'm not actually sure which thing I have to click on. I've been subscribed to you for months. Okay, well, considering your comment, doesn't seem that you want to talk about what we want to talk about. So yeah, you enjoy whatever you're doing. Need to put the cardboard up. Keep the trolls out. Yeah, it's because of lack of cardboard. Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I don't want to get too much into the conversation of trolling because, like I said, it doesn't actually bother me. Yeah, it's something where trolling has never bothered me. It's not something I'm concerned with. I just read through those comments. You can pick them up pretty quickly and move through. My main deal is, like I said, I don't want anyone in the chat to feel uncomfortable if there's people who are just kind of, time wasting. We're here to have a nice conversation and talk about stuff that's amusing to us. And we can be a little bit out there and ridiculous. But if there's just someone who's posting something, you go, Yeah, okay. Then I don't want anyone else to feel uncomfortable, like it's wasting room. So yeah, I'll definitely work on I'll work on how to do a little ban thing for that. Actually, to give me 1 second. Just in case anyone's on there going, oh no, he's going to ban me from the chat. I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna do some research right now. I'm on Google right now. I'm gonna work out how do you ban people from YouTube live stream. Now, once I work out which button to press, I'm going to give you guys a chance to be nice. And if everyone is nice, then I don't have to. Well, you don't have to be nice, actually, because CMC's here and CMC's never nice. But if you guys, if there's no one talking about their boyfriends jerking off and stuff, then yeah, I am more than happy to not block you. But if anyone is clearly trolling, then oh, okay. Block. All right. So all right. So they make it look like it's much easier than it appears to be. So yeah, basically I am now aware of how to do that. Isn't it great that it looks totally different in Japanese? They don't even have the same icons as the one on the tutorial. Troll resistant cardboard. Yes, I'll post it with like anti-troll logo on it in future. There are so many African Americans in Baltimore. Do you swear? Not in Baltimore, my friend. Wow. Wow, you can't be a Russian troll. Russian trolls at least managed to work out where you are. So but in best father voice, I hear you're a troll now, father. Drink. But not enough girls. So I agree. She doesn't talk about what we are. Yeah, exactly. I'm just you know, you come. I mean, I'm not that old, but I'm old enough that we all know what common sense is, guys. I mean, there's certain things that follow hello, and you know, trolls don't even bother with hello. But there's certain things that follow hello, and you know, the most effort you see from most trolls now is hi, what's your name, and then something about them getting naked or someone they know jerking off, and it's just like. Yeah, you really worked to that punch. You really worked to that, you know. Congratulations. So yeah, I have no time for trolls. It's not a problem for me, but I just don't want anyone else to be sucking up a load of wasted time, you know. So don't worry about that. Anyway, we'll move on. Like I say, I will try to weed out the trolls as we go. It's not that difficult by the look of it, but you know, guys, don't worry about that. Let's just get back into the conversation where we are. It's all about you guys and us having a conversation after all. So one thing I wanted to ask, obviously, don't give me any spoilers, but if you are a fan of any of the albums that have been coming out recently, to which I am referring to, obviously, we've got Metal Galaxy came out from Baby Metal, Perfume have that best of thing, then give me your opinions. What do you guys think? Is there anything that you've been bought recently which has been of particular interest? Let me know what you what's been particularly interesting for you. I'm still doing the listen throughs, and we've got quite a few listen throughs to do at the moment, so it's getting quite interesting. There's a lot of content piling up, and like I said, I've been building up the suggestion links from the Reddit. But what have you guys been listening to? What has been particularly interesting? It could be like an album, it could be a particular thing that's come out. Anything of interest, let me know, and we can have a little chat about that as well. Otherwise, I'll just do what I've been doing for the last hour now and just waffle about whatever the hell I want to waffle about, which is fine for me, but I'm sure someone's going to eventually get extremely bored. So what happened to the No Rainbow? Okay, yeah, no, actually, Lenny's brought up a really good point here. Yeah, so what happened to the No Rain, No Rainbow breakdown? It did get blocked. I'm going to put that on the OneDrive, I think. It was one of those ones I didn't even get notification of it. They were good about it. I didn't get any copyright strike or anything. They just sort of retrospectively blocked it. I think that's likely to happen to some of the videos. Happened to a couple of the Perfume ones as well. So as a result, it's blocked. It's still on the YouTube channel, but it cannot be viewed even with a private link. So as a result, I'm just going to save it, take the material, put it on the OneDrive. If you guys don't have access to our private OneDrive, then do remember that if you're on our Reddit and you're on our Discord, then there are links which you can follow to see more from that. And there's some great stuff that we were never able to put on YouTube or online that you can view there. So please, by all means, check that out. And if anything does get removed, if you tell me, I'll make sure it goes across to the OneDrive for you anyway. So let's have a look here. But yeah, apologies about that. That one did get swiped retrospectively. JC, I am going to come back. Don't worry. Oh, are you going? You're going and coming back. If you're going, I hope you come back. If not, have a lovely evening or day or whatever the hell time of day it is. I didn't ask you where you are, but have a good day either way. But hopefully you are coming back. Zimph, are you done with the recording of the MG review? MG review. You know how slow my brain works. Remind me what MG stands for. Oh, Metal Galaxy. See, you notice how I picked that up? Yes. That's the problem. It's like it's a speed race between my brain and internet latency. What will work first? My brain or internet latency? It would appear that my brain just about won that one. Just. I'm not done with it yet. Unfortunately, as you guys might know, I've been quite unwell this week, and I wouldn't usually let something like that stop me. But to be honest, it's not been one of those sort of like, oh, he's going to die type of illnesses. It's just really slowed me down. It's affected me. I've had illnesses like headache and pain and stuff. Nothing lethal, just stuff that's really affected me. And I didn't want to let that affect my listening. It is true that if you're going to listen to music, you really need to listen with an open mind, and you cannot listen with an open mind if you're not feeling well. So I really have to get myself in the right frame of mind to record. That's one of the big delays as well. I talk about the time it takes to produce things, but it's also the fact that I cannot record. It's got to be proper. It's got to be professional. I've got to do stuff in the right frame of mind. As well, I haven't finished it yet. But obviously you guys know that I've heard most of the songs already, but I am going through it slowly. And as always, I will do the songs one at a time, but I won't do that final conclusion video until I've had time to sit down and listen to the whole thing properly and listen through it a few times as an album. So at the moment I'm still doing song by song, but at the end I will sit down and listen to the album properly. I'll give it a full review at the end, and then once I've done that, obviously we'll get to updating the top 10 list as well. So let's have a look at some of the other things that people are posting. CMC, did the Japanese trade descriptions not investigate perfume as best of the perfume is an oh my god. Do you know what? That joke is such a low blow, and yet I can't help but think that's probably the best cheap pot shot that you've taken so far. I hate you and respect you in equal measures for saying that. It's a bit hard to discuss it without spoiling stuff. Well, I mean, yeah, I guess. Let's put it this way. I've heard everything up to, you know which ones I heard pre-release. I've heard the first 5 tracks. So I've heard the one featuring the Swiss guy that basically sounds like a pirate shanty. I'd be really interested to know what people think of that one, actually. It's called Maginai or something? Oh, Maginai? Anyway, if you guys, I'm sure you guys know what song this is. Tell me what you think of that one at very least then. But certainly opinions on the first songs would be very interesting though. And what anyone thinks of the track 2, Da Da Dance as well. That's an interesting one. It'd be really great to know what people think of that. Lenny, MG is BM's okay, wait a second. MG is BM's World Tour Wednesday. Yeah, okay. Yes, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't heard it fully. I certainly, by the time I got to that track 5, which like I say sounded a bit like a sea shanty, but also had like trips of Eastern European and Irish music in it, I was starting to think actually exactly the same thing. I was like, well, this is like being on World Tour Wednesday all over again. Oh, imagine us kind of on a meme status within the fandom. Okay, well, look, I don't want to spoil my own review, but as we're here, guys, let me know why is it on meme status? And I want to know why. Give me a little sense of popular opinion then. So guys, tell me what people are saying about this song, because I actually had quite a strong mixed feeling about this song. grabbed me in a very weird way. So I'd be really interested to know what people think about it. I mean, I don't want to sort of break down too much of my own breakdown in advance, but I will discuss a little bit of my feeling about it if you guys give me something to counter it against, and an idea of what the general feeling has been. CMC, would PFP do a better job than BM on this album? Well, the problem is that PFP, if PFP were doing the album, it'd be the fact that they would write it, produce it, and create it themselves. As a result, it would be that there would be PFP would be hardwired through every note written on the songs. So it'd be impossible to imagine them doing someone else's album, because you'd have to erase all of the marks of any other artist and replace them with what only PFP could do. And therefore, we will never know what this album would sound like if PFP had done it, because PFP is just PFP. So, if anyone doesn't know, by the way, by now, PFP, Pink Fluffy Pentagrams, is our sort of, it's just come up in the live chats over months now. It's just like it's our sort of homegrown made band who are just, they're perfect in every single way, and we're all desperately awaiting their first album and single, which are yet to be released, but we all know they are the greatest band ever to exist. And of course, the minute their first single comes out, it will solve world hunger, fix the Middle East, and probably kill Donald Trump. So Zinf, I liked it a dance until the end. The voice effect on the last My Adore annoyed me. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Did it annoy you enough to really sort of put a stick in the tail of a song? I do hate that when like there's one moment that kind of like ruins a song. But was it enough to sort of really spoil a song totally for you, or is it something you kind of more you listen to it? Sometimes I think you listen to it and you just kind of, it just kind of becomes acceptable to your hearing. You just kind of glaze over it. Be interesting to know what you think of that. CMC. So maybe you should trademark your new label as non-amuse. I do love the Japanese obsession with the word amuse. I don't think they realize just how nonchalant the word sounds. Like, for example, when I was in Cardboard Palace 1.0, you guys might remember me mentioning it was really close to, there's kind of like a street with like loads of girls bars and that kind of stuff, where rich people go to spend all of their money just to talk to a woman who's dressed in suggestive clothing who serves them drinks. And you go past those places and they all have very sort of swanky names. And there's one that always made me laugh because it was just called Bar Amuse. I was like, amuse. I was like, okay, amuse. It sounds like sitting down and playing chess. I'm amused. It's not particularly excited. It's not great. I'm amused. It's like, okay, that's not exactly the sound of a good time. So let's have a look here. PFP on Electone. PFP, if anyone's going to make Electone work, it's PFP, but I get the feeling that PFP, all their members can probably play Electone. They're probably all grade 8 or concert level Electone players. Yeah, ruined for me. I just won't stick with me. I'll have to go back and check that. It wasn't anything that, I mean, I know there was some funny effects in there at points, but nothing that really ruined it for me. I will go back and try and pick up on that moment. Overall, I did quite like the production of the song. I thought it was a little bit from left field. I thought it was a little bit weird, but I liked it in the context that it did kind of remind me of like just kind of like a hardcore pop song. It was very J-pop, but it had a very sort of hard strain in it. So I thought the whole bias of the song was so much towards kind of like an air of craziness. It had that element of crazy over the topness that nothing really could have stand out as being particularly awkward, because it was all OTT all the time. So I was kind of cool with all the effects in that, but I'll go back and try and check that out. Especially thank you for mentioning what line that was on as well. CMC, I like the awful bridge in One and Only. That ruins the song. Yeah, you really don't like that. I went back and I listened to that and I didn't really pick up on it. I'll have to go back and check it out again, but I kind of remember the bridge from One and Only in my recollection. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, I mean, obviously, I know you know what you think, but the bridge from One and Only, I just kind of remember being a bit of a non-entity, just kind of like, it's not great, it's not bad, it's just kind of there sort of thing. It didn't really ruin the song for me, but maybe I wasn't into the song as much as you were from the get-go. That might be the reason. But I will check that out again. I think I have to go back to that other time. Lenny, has Kolber sampled enough of Sue's voice to create a Vocaloid? Well, let's put it this way. They definitely have enough of her voice on recording. I could probably create a Vocaloid of her by now, just from the number of acapellas available online. Seems is Kolber not a type of noodle? Soba is a type of noodle. We got a few people. So the first one, just from the name that you have, I'm going to wait until you add something constructive to the conversation, because if you went there with that kind of troll name, you're asking for a blocking. So I'm going to wait to see what you have to say there. This old helmet. Hello to you. This old helmet. Nice to see you. Welcome. Yeah, well, sorry, we've had like a lot of trolls here. So before I really talk to anyone in too much depth, I'm trying to weed out who the trolls are and block them first. So, but anyway, everyone's welcome to join the conversation if you have something to say. Lenny, has Cobbo recruited local cami on in every country and major city all over the world? I was getting that feeling. I'm still. I know the idea is it's a very commercial idea to bring on board local musicians, but I don't like it. I mean, the whole the fans have become very connected to this cami band, backing band, and so as to kind of like take away the whole meaning of the band by meaning that basically the members are replaceable, I'm going to say something. This might be a bit controversial here, but I'm just going to put this out there. Hey Harry, welcome back, Harry. I'm going to say, and I do think it's going to be controversial, but I'm going to say it anyway. Obviously, Cami Band, they had obviously a massive tragedy with the passing of their guitarist. And for me, there is something kind of almost overtly, considering how much the fans were said about that, and how much they felt about that, and how much that really connected with so many people. I felt there was something almost disrespectful about this idea that now when they travel, the record company is willing just to treat the band like it's a non-entity, like, oh yeah, we're still Cami Band, but fuck the members. Let's just have some new local members. It almost feels like, the members are not important. And I think for a lot of the fans, certainly from talking to you guys, a lot of people feel that they are part of the band. They might have a separate name, they might be a separate entity, but people feel for them like they're a part of the band. And obviously the tragedy with the guitarist made that more real. And so I think for the real fans, the people who are really there, the people who are really paying money to this record company, to Amuse, I think they are very connected with Cami Band. And so for me, if that was me, if I was that connected, if this was that heartfelt to me, I would feel disrespected hearing the band name used for a backing band who was not the band, who was just a bunch of local musicians who'd been taken, dressed up, and thrown on stage. I'd say, no, bring me the musicians that I want to hear, the original musicians, the ones who are part of this project, get them on tour, bring them along. I want to hear them. They're the band. So in my opinion, I do feel a little bit like, I do feel there's an element, it's almost disrespectful in my opinion. But that's the sort of thing that record companies do, because record companies going to be like, well, if we use local musicians, it's going to up our connection with local markets. And I know this whole world tour thing, world tours are always about connecting to new sources of money. So we can't be surprised. And yet it's one of those things where, like I say, from experience working with record companies, I'm not surprised enough to condemn it. I just personally feel it is in very poor taste. And I do think it's kind of disrespectful to what I think we can call the actual members of Cami Band. Anyway, let's have a look and see what people say here. So, arigato sensei baka. Thank you. Of course, always. Again, Harry, nice to have you on board, my friend. Nice to have you on board. Thank you for joining us just as I was making a serious point. Lenny, you see where I'm going with this. Sue Vocaloid and local Cami. That's a very good point. I'm just going to quickly read Lenny's two other points there for Billy Joel. How about when Peter Gabriel fired Genesis? Well, that's Genesis, Fuck Genesis. They'll just go and get their own solo careers. The famous Cami Band are not the original Cami. Yeah. Again, yeah, I get your point. I'm not denying this. And you actually made a really good point about Sue Vocaloid and the local Cami bands. And I would, if for any reason they actually broke up, if the band totally broke up, then I would imagine that would be something where the Amuse will keep the band going forever. They'll just turn them into a Vocaloid, pay off Sue, and keep them going forever as some kind of weird Vocaloid tribute. I guarantee that would happen. They wouldn't kill this cash cow even if it died. So, yeah, I know what these record companies are like, and whether you've worked with them or not, I'm pretty sure you guys all really know what they're like as well. And so nothing would go beyond my expectation. However, just as someone who's also a musician and also believes in the sanctity of creativity, I do feel I do feel it's disrespectful, and I don't like hearing about it. I don't like hearing about it at all, although it's something we have to discuss. So just a quick cover on CMC. He's made a couple of points. The whole Cammy band thing sounds like when Billy, you mentioned Billy Joel as well, canned a lot of his original band. It's interesting because I mentioned in the Bish review I did recently, and that was an interesting one. I mentioned about how Weird Al, of all people, Weird Al has been going for decades. He's been going since like the 70s. He's kept the same band, thick and thin, for what, 40 odd years. Not a single member has changed. None of them have ever been on hiatus. They've all been with him the entire way. And that's what happens when you have a good creative bond with the people you work with. So, you know, some people just stick with you throughout. But I know this is a much bigger money-making machine, created in a much more corporate boiling pot. And therefore, for all the love we have for them, we have to be honest that they are going to be subjected to a lot more of, shall we say, unnatural creative pressures. So that whole Billy Joel example is probably not far off, except for rather than Billy Joel doing the firing, I'd imagine that Amuse would be the people doing the firing. So, Harry, hope you're feeling better. Thank you for mentioning that. I was actually saying that we're going to hope, I was mentioning before, we're going to speed up a lot of things. I won't repeat too many points because I've already mentioned a lot of them a couple of times in the video so far, but we're going to be speeding up a lot of things again. We've had another lull. We're going to be picking up, especially in November when I'm in a new location. But there's a lot of things coming. Certainly going to get back to that 2 videos a day speed quite soon. I am being treated for a couple of the problems I've had, but nothing to worry about. Just a few things have been slowing me down. As I was saying as well, as much as I want to sort of work through it and just do this stuff, even when I'm not feeling well, the most important thing is that I hear the songs properly. And when you're just not in the right frame of mind and you're feeling tired and you're feeling drained and you've got pains, it's very hard to like deliver an honest opinion on a piece of music. So it has slowed me down for reasons that have annoyed me a lot. I mean, mostly it's been me sort of seething and annoying and just going, oh, come on, just do some more work. And in my head going, look, if you do it, it's going to be bad. So, you know, I really appreciate you guys are asking after me and checking that I'm okay and I'm getting better. But the most important thing for me is obviously getting back on top of this and all the other work that I do with this channel and you guys. So, again, thank you very much, Harry. It's always great. It's great when someone asks you that. As much as I'm annoyed at myself for not being healthier and I want to be healthier quicker, I appreciate that you guys support me during these little quiet downtimes. And obviously, it's going to be great when we have James and Bubbles back in full creative mode as well. So, Bubs, original Cammy, new Cammy. I can't believe it's Cammy, sugar-free Cammy, organic Cammy, special flavor Cammy now with more Billy Joel, Peter Gabriel. You forgot about Cammy Zero. Cammy Zero. What other Cammys can we have? Special edition Cammy, Cammy Deluxe, Cammy Flakes. Oh, wait, actually, Zooten's got a couple. So Zim, because you mentioned gluten, I made it into Zooten. Sorry. Don't forget Cammy Twist, Diet Cammy, Cammy Light. That's a good one. Cammy Light for all you beer fans who aren't quite beer fans. Oh, and gluten-free Cammy. Nice, I like this. So seriously, so it's like at Amuse Cammy, we get a new backing band then. Yeah, pretty much. Bubs and Cammy 2-for-1 special, all natural fiber Cammy Khmer. Was Cammy Khmer? That last one got me. Lenny, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry about this, but I find your hatred of Genesis hilarious. Will trigger you if I say Phil Collins is a better drummer than Akane. It won't trigger me, and I'll tell you for why. Look, I don't believe Phil Collins is a better drummer than Akane on any level. However, I'm not even a big Phil Collins fan, but I've got respect for him. It's kind of like do you know what? I think Phil Collins is to drums what Eric Clapton is to guitar, which is that if you ask someone who's kind of like semi-professional, like a really talented musician, you know, one of those people who goes and, you know, plays in the studio as occasionally as like a session musician. Those are the sort of people who tell you that Eric Clapton is an awful guitarist and who tell you that Phil Collins is an awful drummer. When you ask people who are really at the top of the level, they're the ones who tell you that Eric Clapton's great and Phil Collins is great. And you've got to ask yourself, what is the difference? And the difference is simple. Eric Clapton and Phil Collins they're not the technical show-offs. They're not the ones who do that stuff where you go, wow, you are blowing my mind right now. what they both are is very good at consciously creating what they want to make. You know, they can transmit the emotion, the feeling. They know how to put the right note in the right place and get the right sound. So I got to admit, I don't really listen to any of Phil Collins' songs. He's got a couple that I like, but not really that much. Eric Clapton, even less. I don't really listen to Eric Clapton, and yet I have a huge respect for both of them in actuality. They are people who are even much higher than I am up the ladder have respect for them, and when I hear them talk about why these guys are great, I totally understand it. I listen to their music and I can appreciate their music even when I'm not necessarily enjoying it on my own palette. So no, anyone says Phil Collins is great, I have no problem with that. I don't enjoy him particularly, but I don't disagree with you. I totally see that. So people like Phil Collins and Eric Clapton, I'm with you 100% of the way there. You tell me that Black Sabbath are great and we got more of a question. I don't see why Black Sabbath are great. No, don't get that. So seriously, Cammy, we get an amen then. Are you like preaching, CMC? Is this are you preaching now? Bubs, the real Cammy, the continuity Cammy. I'm getting confused now. These Cammy comments are getting confusing. Cammy confusing. Oh, sorry, I can be a YouTuber now because I pulled a funny face. Wow. Anyway, where was I going with this? Can understand your frustration, but don't push yourself. Get better, then return full force, better and stronger. You know what? I know I'm kind of fueled by two things. One of them is an honest thing, which is that I'm not much of a chilled person. I'm one of those people I can't relax. I go on holiday, I can't even relax on holiday. I just always have to be doing something. Is how I stay happy. So that's part of the reason. And the other reason, I've got to admit, the cynical reason is the fact that you cannot take too many days off on YouTube. You take too many days off on YouTube, you get disconnected from any new viewers. And like I say, as much as I love having our core viewers, I want to grow this to more people so more people get it. I mean, the whole idea is that we're spreading this music to people who wouldn't always hear it as well as the fans. So I cannot afford to take downtime. So it's a mixture of that and my own personal neuroses. But I do try. Sometimes if I'm like, I wake up and sometimes I say, okay, I'm going to do some recordings in the mornings. That's when your ears are fresh and you can get really into it, have a good breakfast and do it. Sometimes I wake up and I just feel like death. And then I have enough sense not to do it. So it is a difficult one, but I really respect you saying that. And you are right. You are definitely right. Simpsy, new baby metal backing band, Camouflage. Oh, Camouflage. Oh, that's what the skeleton suits were. Surely that was like death camouflage. Oh, apparently I've got a pretty voice. Although that might be trolling. Thank you. Some trolling I can respect, trolling that's compliments, but if it's going to be followed up with something disturbing, which is quite likely, then that's going to ruin it. But thanks for telling me I have a nice voice. I appreciate that. While I still feel that you're not trolling me. Harry, Rick Allen, the one-armed drummer from Def Leppard, has always been a favorite of respected drummer. Yeah, I mean, I heard that band long before I knew he had one arm, and then just when I heard he had one arm, I mean, look, anyone who knows anything about drumming knows that you can do actually a lot of drumming with one arm, but to make a career out of it, that's amazing. And yeah, full respect to him. And Def Leppard, although again they're not my usual type of band, they have some amazing songs, and that includes with amazing drumming. I mean, how do you do a drum roll with one arm? Fucking using your head's how you do it. You make up for having one less arm by using your brain. So no, full respect to them, and full respect to them having an amazing drummer. Actually, I'll probably say the one thing that really gets me. I mean, when you look at drummers, probably the most amazing thing about him, the guy, I always forget his name, was it Rick Allen from Def Leppard? Is when you look at drummers, a lot of what keeps the energy going is the balance. So, how when you walk, your body naturally moves one arm opposite to the other because it balances your body. Same thing kind of true with drumming. You think of a drum roll, and there's a reason why you do that same motion. I mean, obviously that's the natural way you do it for timing's sake, but there's also a balance in your whole body. The physicality of drumming. You drum with you're drumming on the hat and using the snare, your body's balanced. You can virtually move your arms like that, like you're doing the flaming Macarena or something. So to do it with one arm, I'm always amazed about the whole physicality of that, how he doesn't get incredibly worn out. It must be like the strongest arm in the world. But Collins is to drums as Clapton is to guitarist. You mean a rambling racist who likes younger ladies? Oh my God. Also the provisional cameo, that's sort of... well, first of all, look, I don't actually know anything about Phil Collins except for when he was on personally as a person, except for when he was on that Brass Eye special. Nonsense. And since then, I don't really ask anything more about what Phil Collins is like when he's not doing music. As for Eric Clapton, I don't know much about Eric Clapton at all outside of his music as well. I'm one of those people, unless someone has done something truly appalling, sort of Gary Glitter levels of things, I don't get involved in their own personal lives. If they're a weirdo, they're a weirdo. Let's face it, so many artistic people are weirdos that it's kind of hard to keep a check on the people you like. So until they do something which they get thrown in prison for or chased around by the police, I'm going to stand back and say, fine, let them be. Let them be. Lenny G, come in. Like, it's K Amen. It was starting to sound more like Ramen. Carmen or Cayman, like the Cayman Islands. Black Sabbath are awesome because they managed to overcome a Birmingham accent to become famous. Oh, I did not know they were from Birmingham. Probably explains a lot about why Ozzy is like he is, but I'm not saying anything more about that. CMC has deleted a comment. Damn. I always hate when you do that because I love to see what you post. Bubs, yes, I was making IRA jokes instead using Cammy's name. I didn't get that. The provisional. That's the problem, man. Although, by the way, apologies about New Zealand. Japan beat in the Rugby World Cup. Japan beat Ireland. Now New Zealand have beat Ireland. Now Ireland have to go home because they've just been beaten too many times. Sorry about that. Wait till tomorrow. Japan are probably going to get beaten. Lenny, the Bubbles has found the trigger. Yeah, just letting Bubbles on a computer is finding the trigger. Oh, wow. I was enjoying the compliments I was getting from my latest troll, and it turns out they've all gone down. They've all gone down. Why do you have a dick nose and crooked teeth? Shut up, oh no, oh well, that's really great. At least Daniel's making more effort. Okay, if you're gonna troll, I mean, usually trolls are more funny, but Daniel's making some effort. I love this. He's really putting. Oh, he's deleted his messages now. Oh, I was enjoying that. Oh, I thought he was making some effort there. I mean, that was some good hardcore trolling there. Oh well. Troll D's. Oh no, that's lazy now. See, you were trying to attack my personality. That was more fun. Now it's just back to balls jokes. It's lazy, Daniel. You let yourself down, Daniel. You were trolling so well and you let yourself down. Harry, Rick Allen, after he lost his arm, I shouldn't laugh when I talk about someone losing their arm. Actually, I didn't know how he lost his arm. After he lost his arm, started his comeback by using an electric drum kit to use his foot to make up for his arm, but quickly transitioned back to a normal drum kit. That is true. I mean, for example, the drummer who I was working with so much, a really good friend of mine, I wish I could work with him in Japan, but the drummer I worked with in England, he was amazing, and he showed the sort of things you could do with like limited drum kits, or just like he would sometimes you invite him over for like a party, a few of us would start jamming, and if there was no drums there, he would just like take random household things, like those buskers do on the street, and just make a drum kit, and obviously not using his feet really for most of the time, just stuff. Mostly handheld stuff, or sometimes you put loads of stuff on the floor. It's amazing how much rhythm you can make without just necessarily sticking to the normal formula. Obviously, the normal drum kit formula does get the most out of your whole body. Again, it's that physicality that you can use every part of your body, both legs, both arms. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's difficult. It's difficult, but total respect. I mean, I can understand why he would start from using his feet, because that would seem like the natural comeback. But then just eventually, once you get used to the way you are, then you just sort of find a way of coming back to what I guess is the natural style of drum kit. But, credit to him. A massive credit to him for that. Lenny, was that quote from Life of Brian? He lost his arm. I actually don't know which quote that was, so you have to remind me. Was that something that Daniel said? CMC, he lost his arm in a car accident. Really? Do you know how old was he? Was he quite young, quite old? It'd be really interesting to know how that really interesting to know how that sort of how that happened, although obviously not in any of the too morbid details. But I mean, I'm imagining he was already a drummer before that happened, because like you say, he had to get back into it. One of our trolls, did he find his arm? Oh, the classics. The classic jokes are always the best. That's a good old-fashioned classic. I'm guessing he didn't know, or maybe the paramedic did. I'll just follow up. Are you sitting on the toilet? I'll be honest, usually toilets don't look like this. That would be really cool if it was a toilet. No, I'm not sitting on the toilet. Sorry. So Bubs, he lost his arm in a car crash. Oh, you actually said this one. While he was under the influence, although with one arm, fair play for keeping up with his drug habit. Well, when was this? I mean, I'm imagining this was back before the dangers of drugs were properly advertised. I mean that we have to be honest. I mean, it's so easy nowadays to like apply sort of retrospective standards, but when you think about it, you go depending when this was back in the 70s, definitely, and the 80s to a certain degree, people didn't really have so much of a handle on really what drugs were, and they weren't so available. So it was kind of like a rich person's trapping that led to silly things happening. So but interesting. I'll be really, like I say, interested to know more about that. He did find his arm and gave himself a high five. We've gone from the classics to the evil mind of Bubs. Liddy, according to biopic movie Driving Fast, boom. Well, I guess he was definitely driving fast. That appears to be true. But what caused him to drive fast? Was it the influence? Oh, I guess it doesn't matter, but still, it's interesting. Gave himself a prostate exam with his arm. Was he also working for airport security? Crashed his Corvette Stingray. So obviously he had money at the time, which would suggest that he had money for nice cars and drugs. He was living what I would associate with saying he was living the life. Again, I'd love to know when this was, like sort of 70s or 80s, or just for a bit of context, but he was living the life, had the money, probably, I'm assuming in an era when people weren't aware of just how dumb it was to do drugs, especially when you're driving, and lost his arm. Well, at least he was alive. I guess that's the main thing. And by the way, should we also point out big credit for the band, because the band, so many bands, if they were already active, would sort of like have just quickly tried to replace the drummer. But the fact they stood by him and allowed him to get back involved and sort of supported him, which I imagine there would have been a lot of support involved. Credit to them as well. Harry, car accident. If the Hysteria Def Leppard story is to be believed, he lost control of his car when someone passed him on the road and he tried to get back in front of him. Oh, that's so either drugs or a little bit of ego, perhaps. Interesting. Was it? Do you know what, Lenny? That's the same thing I thought when he said Stingray. I immediately went for Polka Dot Stingray, but I backed off from that. So thank you for making that joke. No, not a polka dot. That is Japanese only model. Yeah. If I actually see a polka dot Stingray, I'll be very happy, very impressed, and very happy. I mean, talking so much, I haven't been enjoying my bar reel, the real bar. Man, do you know what? I wish I don't have any sponsorships on this channel, but I wish I could get sponsorships only from ultra cheapo brands. Like ultra cheapo own brands so sponsor me. Nothing classy. So many of these like YouTube channels are super, like sponsored by classy things, like classy online brands and stuff. I know I want to be sponsored by your local sort of $1 beer brand and your well, this is less than $1 in actuality. Your local beer brands. I want to be sponsored by Daiso. I want to be sponsored by the 100 yen shops. I want to be sponsored by all of the stuff that costs nothing. That's what I want to be sponsored by. So, what we got here? You mean a Suzuki Stingray wagon K car? Is there a Suzuki Stingray wagon? Is that? I mean, the Suzuki. I know they make K cars, but I never knew there was one called a Stingray. If there is, that is truly amazing. Either that or you're just making it up because it sounds like an awesome way of having a Japanese polka dot Stingray. Only if the Mighty Car modded version. If it's the Mighty Car mods. Explain that to me. I really want to hear an explanation of that. It sounds like it's going somewhere which I'll be interested in, but I don't understand it. They tried to reattach your arm, but reattach your arm, but infection set in and his arm, I'm assuming, but they had to re-amputate. Oh, the arm. Okay, you mentioned after. They had to re-amputate. Damn. Shit. That's, well, again, I mean, look, as bad as I feel for him, also at the same time, I feel incredibly, he's so lucky that not only did he survive it, but he managed to continue his career. And, to a certain degree, I know it sounds like an awful thing to say, but being like the one-armed drummer in a hard rock metal band, that could have probably helped them a lot with publicity. They say any publicity is good publicity, and that's some pretty big publicity to throw out there. Hey, our drummer lost an arm, but he's still going. So I can't help but say it. But losing his arm probably wasn't the worst thing that happened in his life. I'm sure as far as things go, he did all right. So credit where credit's due to him for that. So let's have a look here. Bubs. An Aldi marketing bloke perked up his ears after hearing someone needs cheap brand sponsorship. Yeah, Aldi. If Aldi were in Japan, I'd be there, but they're not. We have Lidl here, but Lidl's not that cheap. Suzuki Stingray wagon is a real car. That sounds like one of those cars that drives around Akihabara, which someone does totally in anime decals. They're driving around Akihabara. You see these. There's a word for it. I think they call it itaikurama or itakurama, which basically means it hurts the car. Because basically, like the sort of otakus, the big anime fans in Japan, they drive around usually sometimes in cheap cars, but sometimes in really expensive cars, and the entire car is done up with like decals of like anime girls and all kinds of anime stuff all over them. And for a hardcore car fan, that's quite disturbing to see. But yeah, so that when you say about a Suzuki Stingray wagon, it just sounds like one of those cars. It really does. So CMC Mighty Car Mods, 2 Aussies starting their YouTube channel modding Japanese K cars, now over 3 million subs. Done some great documentaries in Japan on car culture. That sounds really interesting, actually. I'll definitely check that out then. Aussies are an acquired taste. So I've got some really good Aussie friends, and there's some people I know who are Australian who are really annoying. So that would be an interesting one. But yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Certainly if it's modding Japanese K cars, that sounds amazing. Lenny, it might be the car that Chitan flipped over. Ooh, if it's the Cheetang flipped over car, then I'm there for that. Did everyone see the John Oliver episode where he made a friend to replace Cheetang because Cheetang had upset the original mascot too much, and so they invented a John Oliver mascot to replace him. If you guys have seen that, that'd be amazing. So let's have a look here. What else we got? Def Leppard was a cursed band in the early days. Drummer lost his arm. Lead guitarist died of liver failure due to alcoholism. He couldn't kick it. It was flying here. I had no idea about that. Jesus. So okay, the band was a bit more cursed than the drummer. I mean, like I say, the drummer, terrible what happened to him, but he picked up and ran with it. Excuse any potential pun that there is in that, but he picked up and ran with it. So. Yeah, I mean that's terrible though. So I mean, especially when I'm drinking a beer, so sad to read that, but still nonetheless. But yeah, Def Leppard were successful, and that was the guitarist, wasn't it? So lead guitarist, oh man, and I'm assuming obviously that to replace the lead guitarist, I'm assuming they didn't go on without that member. I don't know enough about band members, I must point out. Here we go, Zim Itasha. It's like Itasha. Yeah, I knew it was called Itasha, and then one of my friends told me that it means like the car is hurt or something like that. Now I know when you show me the Itasha kanji, I know the second kanji is sha as in car or carriage. The first one is that the ita as in like ouch, like ita is, or is that a different kanji? Let me know. I would really appreciate that so I can end that conversation with my friend properly. CMC, one's a music producer, the other is an audio engineer. It's kind of like you and me talking though, CMC, isn't it? Because if they start talking about music and they have your kind of opinions, and I can't, unlike you, I can talk to you and we can reason things, but I can't reason with these people. So if they start telling me stuff that I don't believe is true and they start telling me things are good in music that are not, then I might find these two very annoying. Nah, it's cool though. It does sound really fun actually. So I'm definitely going to check that out. You did mention, you mentioned the channel name. That's brilliant. So Bubs, yeah, saw the John Oliver one I was watching while drinking. I had weird fucking dreams about those costumes. Actually, you know what? I think, Bubs, you could totally be one of those guys wearing the costumes. I can imagine you doing that. That would be an awesome job for you if you came to Japan. Is Cheetang's old Twitter still deleted? I think it is. I know that a lot of Cheetang stuff is now spread elsewhere. Most of the Cheetang stuff is spread all over the place now. So usually best not to find it on Twitter, but you can find it all over the shop. Lenny, any news in Japan about Reiki Saiki? How is she recovering from her injury and surgery? Best way to search that is Google, I guess. Let's have a look here. I cannot see anything telling me any news. No, there's no news. I don't know. I got to admit, I'm not particularly familiar with her beyond her name, if I'm honest with you. So I don't really know anything about all of that, but I heard something or other happened. And I can't see any news that's telling me anything particularly useful. So unfortunately, nothing that I can tell you. If I hear anything, I will let you know. Simply, how come we never see Bubbles and the artist formerly known as Lady Baby in the same place at the same time? Don't ask, right? Getting too close. You're getting too close to things that you don't understand, things that you don't need to know. Some things best left as a secret. Don't ask. Just walk away. Walk away while you still can. Anyway, where are we going with this? So JC, I'm back. Hey JC, welcome back. I don't know where you went actually. Sorry, you might have told me, but I did just you commented that you were going and you came back, and I don't know where you went. But anyway, welcome back nonetheless. Bubs, I'd be the prick version of those greeting monsters. Monsters. Can you imagine my customer service level? And I don't want to know about your customer service level. It's been dropping for years. Bubs as Back and Breakdown's official Yudu chatter. Here's a really good question from Sied. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Is it Sied Abbas? Is Kodakumi still relevant or particularly dead over there? Kodakumi has kind of like an ongoing fame that comes from her time at Avex, from being at Avex. She's one of Avex's sort of prime examples. She had enough singles that they're going to keep her in rotation regardless. She's not really relevant as in if she drops something now, it's only going to chart very briefly with fans. It'll probably be like a 1 week chart and then it'll drop out by the second week. She still like does massive rotation in karaoke. You go to like a karaoke place, there's loads of people always sing, oh, do you remember this Kodakumi song? They sing it. Obviously, as I was an old Scry fan, I was always on that side of the fence. So I was always kind of like against the Kodakumi side of things. But there's no doubt she's still relevant in that she still appears on TV fairly regularly. She still has she still drops songs occasionally, and they do get, like I say, they do chart. They don't have a massive longevity because in Japan the charts are all about, are you 20 years old, like it is in a lot of countries, but she can't play on that sort of idol quality that she had before. She's now seen as being like a sort of a 30 something singer, so she can't quite do that same sort of thing, but she has loyal fans. She does sell out tickets for concerts. It's just she's now in that area that I think a lot of people, if you've been a very big solo pop star, you enter that area eventually where in Japan, it's not like in the West where your career just totally dries up after a certain age. In Japan, you reach that point where if you still love music and if you still want to do it, you can keep it going, but it becomes something where it's more low key. And you just have that core group of fans who've stayed with you, who will probably now stay with you forever. So she won't disappear. So long as she wants to do it, she'll be around, but she's never going to have that kind of like chart destroying success that she had originally. So let's have a look at some of the other stuff. So Steve Clark, Def Leppard, had a lot of issues and self-confidence problems stemming from his father, and turned to alcohol the guitarist. The only time he could remain sober was when performing on stage. That's an interesting point, isn't it? Because music is a form of therapy. Sorry, I know it sounds so cliche, but it is true. And it is really amazing. You hear about so many musicians who get so drunk that they're drunk on stage, that it says a lot about him that he was sober on stage. So a tragedy indeed. Definitely a tragedy there. Bubs, this is CI delete that Lady Baby message. Dude, don't draw attention to it. Let it go up the stream. Let it disappear so no one else gets into the circle of truth. Moving on. How must I consider it deleted, Lady Baby? Oh, how long can you live stream, JC? I think my understanding is you can technically live stream forever. I mean, there are some. I mean, I do my live streams at 2 hours, so I only got about 20 minutes until I start rounding this one up. There are some things that you get some channels where they do like, especially those ones who do like that chill out music, who basically use YouTube as a radio station and they live stream infinite time. Basically, they live stream forever. And they just keep a live stream going permanently, just popping music on, and they call it a radio station. So technically speaking, there is no limit as far as I'm aware on live stream lengths. Evil Bubs Beebs, Evil Bubs CMC lol, fair enough. Lenny Reika, I always pronounce Reika Psyche. I know she's the girl from Deadlift. Broke her chin. Ooh. Especially when you're a singer. Damn. Yeah. Oh, I really hope she's okay, because that's a dangerous one as well. That's a very dangerous one, like a jaw fracture. Actually, her chin. Oh man. Okay, Said. Welcome back. Yeah. We were talking. I noticed from her latest releases, literally such low views. The quality is still pretty high though. That's a really good point. I mean, like I say, despite all of their public and kind of childish feud that there was between Oddscry and Kodakumi, the bottom line is that they were both huge artists who have basically now reached this level, like I say, which Japanese singers can do more than Western singers can do, where they can basically hold their core fan base and just run a career off of that. Because core fans stay with you a lot longer in Japan than they do in other countries. That is just shown statistically to be true. I mean, people are more loyal to the artists they like here. But yes, it will. I mean, when you're looking at someone who originally the views were so high, and like I say, this is a singer where you have so many, even Japanese people, who will know her songs and will go to karaoke and will sing her songs and will sing over and over, and they'll remember it from, when I was in school, this song came out, and they'll all be singing with their friends and they'll know every word, but they won't have any idea that she's even got a new song coming out. That's the trap of being that big in pop. Your song's fame outlasts your fame. So are her songs still relevant? Yes. Her songs are still hugely relevant, recognized by a huge number of people, and will be around forever on the karaoke circulation, which will get her paid. Even though Avex will take most of the money, she will get money from that. But for her putting out new material, she is going to have to be content with, like, sort of, I imagine, like sub 1 million views and, low views. But the quality will be kept up, because again, even her staff will continue working with her, because staff are going to want to work with people like that. Even if her modern music isn't going to chart as high, people are going to want to work with someone like that who her name carries some weight. Because you say, okay, you're a Japanese producer, you're coming up, you want to find someone to work with. Oh, Kodakumi, she's looking for people. Okay, I'll work with her. You do have a song with her. Maybe the song you do with her doesn't really chart or make any success, but then you move on to newer projects and people say, who have you worked with before? You go to the record company and say, I just did a song with Kodakumi, and they'll be like, oh, cool, all right, that's interesting. You're in with good people. So there's so many things that go into the way that this sort of record company thing works, especially at this phase. But yeah, I have absolutely no doubt that her career, if she wants any artist in this particular position in Japan, and this is what's so unique about the Japanese music industry, certainly at the moment, I think it will maintain this way, is that if she wants to keep her career going, she can have it going forever. Her career will keep on going. Even if she goes independent, her career will keep on going forever, because people will always work with her and her fans will always be listening. That's the great way the Japanese music industry works. So yeah, unfortunately, when you listen to her music, she's going to get low views. But I tell you what, her fans have not abandoned her. I think that's the main thing. Her fans have not abandoned her, and they usually don't. Japan's very loyal with its music industry. But fantastic question, actually. Really good point about the music industry there. There's a few comments on, so I'm going to move through some of them. CMC, does anyone know what Skullmania is? Bandmate are down to play it. Apparently happening November 4th. Some more famous than you. Okay, the Tiffany Syndrome. I don't know what that is, but I'll check it out. That's all I can really say. If anyone wants to give me a link for anything they find out, please do, but I don't really know. Casper, hello everyone. Cool accent. Thank you very much. Thank you. I hope you're not a troll, because that's a nice thing to say. Last person who said something nice about my voice turned out to be a troll. So I hope you're not a troll. But thank you. For now, thank you. Harry, apparently Kano and other Sakura Gakuen girls started a new idol group that would seem to strike off one of the three Avengers as a potential replacement for Yui. That's an interesting point. I don't know anything about it, but that's one I'll be very interested to be updated on. I mean, as I've said before, when it comes to this, whoever's going to take that point, as they're obviously going to find someone to replace her eventually, I kind of want it to just be. I would like it to be someone from their original school, from their original group. I think that would have a nice way of connecting, bringing the whole story into, connecting it all together. That would be great. But ultimately, just so long as it's someone who sticks with them, and not just sort of like, don't just get a celebrity pick, because those don't last. Don't just go for the most famous person. Don't go for the one who's going to really sort of wow people. Go for the one who really just seems to work on a personality level. The one where they sit down, and I'm assuming they've taken so long doing this that I'm assuming it's not just a commercials thing. They really are thinking about this, definitely. But you want someone you can sit down and go, okay, well, look, is this what you want to do long term? Because it's a long term project. And yeah, we'll see about that. I'm looking forward to hearing what that is, though, because that's a really interesting point. But if there's a new group, I don't know if it's treated as a subgroup, or as a genuine restart for them. But really interested to know what that is. So, latest news from Reika seems to be from her September 30th video. So that's relatively recent, 2 or 3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. She said she was fine but lost 3 kilograms from not working. Yeah, that's you're being in a bed all day is going to do that to you. I linked the new Sakura Gakken group to the Discord. Oh, fantastic. I haven't got Discord on this computer. When I get on the other computer, I'll load that up and have a look. Really interested to see what that is. But yeah, interesting points on that. All right, guys, we are into the last 15 minutes. You guys know how this works. We go for 2 hours. It's not saying that we can't go over it. By the way, thank you. We've got 5 likes on here, which is always great. I love when people like things. I think now's a point. Sorry if you've been here from the long term, but I'm going to repeat some of the important points on this video. We've been going for almost 2 hours. And as we get close to the end, it would be really ridiculous if I didn't mention the important things. So I'm going to have a quick simp. I'm going to mention some of the points, and then I'll catch up with your comments. All right, so let me just quickly cover the main thing. First of all, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone. And I want to put a special thank you to people like CMC, CM, Harrow, you guys who are like there every single time. Harry as well, being fantastic, who are just supporting everything, because I know the channel is going through a real lull, and we've had these ups and downs more and more in the last sort of 6 months. And I do apologize for that, but it is all leading to us having this new base, which is going to be really fantastic for doing the channel from. But I just wanted to point out, there are 2 things that are really cool to talk about. First of all, there's been a lot of promotional material coming out around the new Baby Metal album and the Perfume Best Of. They've had like a promotional, like mini posters and magazines, like cover issues and things, all in Japanese. I've managed to pick up a lot of them free. I've been going into the convenience stores, taking bundles with me. I want to give them out, obviously, to people, but it's going to cost me money to send them. So I'm prioritizing anyone who's on a Patreon. You've got dibs on that. I'd be happy to send those. I'll be trying to show them off. I've got them upstairs, but I'll find them and try and photograph them. I'll put them in a video, or maybe in my next live stream, show you what the items are, so you guys can opt to, if you want to have them, you can have them. Like I say, Patreon people come first, because obviously I have to pay for the postage, and they're already helping the channel financially. Like I say, I'm no downer on anyone who's not paying the Patreon. I know what it feels like to have no money. Believe me, more than anyone, I know what it feels like to have no money. So I will still be offering them to people who are not on the Patreon, but first dibs goes to those guys. So that's one thing. Another thing to point out, like I say, there is a lot of videos, especially the specials coming up. Now I'm starting to get on with recording the videos. I want to get up to having 2 reaction videos per day. We have got the Indonesia World Tour Wednesday coming up next Wednesday. So, guys, if you know any Indonesian music, tell me, or otherwise, me and James are just going to do whatever the hell we like, which is still going to be funny. But if you know anything from Indonesia that you want to be on that World Tour Wednesday, it's restarting this Wednesday. So let us know. So we've got that coming up. I didn't mention that before, but yeah, World Tour Wednesday. Please remember, the Reddit has a whole suggestion thread for that Indonesia World Tour Wednesday is coming up. I know Indonesia is a really interesting one. Guys have been telling me so much about it, but no one's been giving me a link. So links in that one, please. Also to point out, we have a lot of specials coming up. Like I say, just to reiterate, when the the Baby Metal listen through to Metal Galaxy is done, we'll be doing the Baby Metal top 10 updated, made a little bit longer to add the new songs. Anything that I think belongs in that top 10 from Metal Galaxy, the revised top 10 will be done. Then Bandmade, we will be having a listen through to their new album when it comes out on December the 11th, followed by a Bandmade top 20. That might go into January because I'm going to need some time to really think about that. And with the new songs, that'll take a while. But one thing that will be coming up before the end of the year is the Bandmade albums ranked. I'm going to do a ranking of the albums in listen through quality because they all have such interesting, different stories on who wrote them, why they were done, the styles, the musical experience. They're all so different. I'm going to be really looking forward to doing a ranking, both of their songs, but first of all, of their albums, in my opinion. Obviously, hopefully, if we get through the Perfume stuff without too much copyright issues, that'll be coming up. We're going to be having a video. We're going to be going through. We've had so many fantastically trolly comments and like angry comments on this channel. I'm going to be doing a video where I'm going to read out some of the funniest comments we've had on this channel that you guys might not have seen. We're going to have a awards video towards the end of the year because we started in January, like right at the beginning of the year. So at the end of this year, it's literally the end of our first year as well. So we're going to do an awards video where I'm going to give awards for things that I think are particularly interesting, videos that I feel I've most misjudged, videos that I find most catchy, the ones that have stuck with me for the most time since I first reviewed them. Things like, all kinds of like crazy things, videos I found the most shocking, bands who've like surprised me the most, just things I've liked, things that I feel are worth mentioning. I'm going to do a special video for that. There'll be more remixes and re-recordings coming as well. That's definitely a thing that's coming up more and more as we move into November, especially. It's going to be a lot of really, really cool extra videos as well as just the reviews. But like I say, I can't really start doing those until the reviews are coming at their usual 2-a-day speed, which we need to get back to. And obviously, James and Bubbles will be jumping back into the fray relatively soon as well. Like I say, I'm hoping either it's going to be for New Year or by the end of the year, we're going to be getting James and Bubbles back on doing their videos as well. And James has already recorded his first series of the Backer Binge, where we have been reviewing Japanese food and drink and weird snacks, which is actually quite funny. That's a really interesting aside to what we do here on music. So anyway, there goes. I thought I'd mention that as well. Right, so we're into the last 10 minutes now, so I'm going to get into the comments. I'm going to start slowly wrapping things up now. Thank you so much for joining me on this, but don't worry, we've still got a bit more talking to go. Let's have a look and see what other things have been said. All right, Harry, correct me someone if I am wrong, but Kano was the one in the free live MVs for Papaya, Shanty, and Elevator Girl. Don't actually know. Yeah, so Zinf said, yeah, Kano was pretty much the designated official video girl, which was why it was a bit of a surprise she wasn't in the forum show. Okay. Lenny, all I know is from Indonesia is the sacred Rihanna. I don't want to make it sound too much like the American singer, but she is a magician, not a musician. And Gamerland, what if you got any links? Link them in the Reddit. I really, really appreciate it. Anyway, I'm actually just to point out, on that magician thing. I remember going back quite a few years when I was younger. I'd just come back from America, and I was in because I went to America when I was like 17, 18, doing music. And I come back to England and I was hanging out with some old friends of mine and we were walking around London and there was like a homeless guy in one of the tunnels, just fairly normal. But he's just like sort of begging for money. And we were all there. We just on a bit of a night out, sort of usual teenage, early 20s night out. And we saw him and we just chatted to him. We were giving him some money and he was like, hey, what do you do? What do you do? And he looked at me and so I said, oh, what do you do? I said, oh, I'm a musician. And he went, you're a magician? Show me a trick. And my friends thought that was hilarious. I was like, yeah, no, musician. I don't do any tricks, but okay. I felt that was the first time I ever felt sad about being a musician. If I had been a musician, I could have shown him a trick. But unfortunately, I was just a musician with no instruments. What a useless person I was. But anyway, I thought I'd mention that story. So CMC, well, Miku has freaked out a few fans by saying new and different sounds on this album. Good. I've said this before and I'll say this again. I don't want to hear a band who released the same album again. And I get this distinct feeling, as I did when, obviously, Baby Metal are only 2 albums in. This is their 3rd album. And when I heard the pre-released songs from Metal Galaxy, the thing that made me happy is it sounded like, okay, they did a really good first album, an even better second album, I think it's fair to say. And the 3rd album, they're going in a different direction. They're not just trying to do the same thing even better again. They're taking it in a different direction. And I thought that was brilliant from step one. Whether you like it or not, I thought that was a good thing to do. Bandmade have had quite a few records. And from what I get the feeling, some of their records seem seem like they're lampooning the ones before. And it's not to take down from the fact that they are an absolutely amazing band, but sometimes their albums don't have the distinct level of identity. They sort of fade from one into the next. There's more of a sort of, it seems to be a sort of general sense of progression throughout their career. So if they come and say, look, the new album's going to be something different, that's great. Even if it falls flat on its face and it's not that good, I'm still just going to be so happy that they tried. So yeah, I'm all for that. I think Bandmade have so much good material in their portfolio that they can afford to experiment. They can afford to have an album that could potentially not be so good for them, because that's what artists do. That's what real artists do. You occasionally hit a bum note, or if you're lucky, you never hit a bum note and you just keep on experimenting and everything works. But even the greatest occasionally drop a bum note. I mean, you look at a band like Queen, I think very few people, even if you don't like Queen, I think very few people could say that Queen were not a great band from at least the sides of performance, musicianship, and writing. Do they have bad albums? Yeah, they got like 2 or 3 bad albums that I could name off the top of my head. Albums where it's just like, it's just not really worth listening to. So what? That's how you achieve great things. You take risks. The Beatles, anyone who slags off the Beatles, I mean, you don't have to like them, but if you can't appreciate them as amazing, are all their songs great? No, they've got some real trash in their fucking selection. And that's one of the reasons why they're held as like being the greatest band ever. You have to experiment. So if Bandmade, a band who, like I say, I mean, no criticism, but there is a Bandmade formula. We know how Bandmade songs work. We know how they're structured. If they come along and say, look, this album's going to be different, I say good. I say good for you. And you know what? Even if I come at the end of the album going, it wasn't a good album, I'll still respect it a hell of a lot more than I would have done if they just produced World Domination Part 2. That's my opinion. All right, so look at some of the other things that people have been saying while I've been ranting. By the way, Harry, I just want to point out, Harry, thank you. You did point me towards quite a lot of scandal, shall we say. The scandal stuff is coming. Like I say, that's one of the other things. Starting something new, like getting into a new artist on my channel, I don't want to do that while so much of the infrastructure of how I do things is kind of up in the air. So once I'm a bit more settled, don't worry, the scandal is coming. Just wanted to point that out. So again, bear with me. I really appreciate it. Just saw Tomomi from Scandal was doing some guest DJ work today and was live streaming it on Instagram. This is one of the reasons why I'm really looking forward to Scandal. Even though I kind of get the feeling that they are one of the core leading artists in this female band Japanese rock revolution thing, and so I'm not expecting them to be particularly out there and crazy in anything other than their like offshot side groups. I do still love that everything you hear about them doing is just weird. Oh, they have a rap group. Oh, they're DJing. So everything they do is just like, oh, okay, they've gone mental again. So yeah, I've got time and a half for Scandal from what I'm hearing about them. So you say they're doing DJ work. Even for a band who I only know like 1 or 2 songs by already, I'm still smiling and thinking I'm not surprised. It just sort of fills up the image that I was going for. I'm happy to hear it. CMC DJ Squeaky joking. Harry put down the hammer. It was a joke. Yeah, CMC, you can mess with me, but I wouldn't mess with this man when it comes to Tomomi. You just someone's gonna have to find a plot and dig 6 feet for CMC after that comment, my friends. Anyway, we're into the last 3 minutes. Like I said, I don't draw a hard time limit on these things, but I am thinking I'm going to sort of draw an end to this around about 2 hours. By the way, I also wanted to say a big thank you for everyone coming. But I know this hasn't been like our most views on most viewers on a live stream, but obviously I know the live streams have been up in the air a bit as well. Hopefully from this point on, we're back to Saturdays every single week from midnight Japanese time. I was trying to get on midnight Japanese time with this particular live stream, but I struggled a little bit with because I'm on a new computer. I couldn't log into my YouTube account, so I had to like use my phone, which is ridiculously slow, and share the information from my phone and my other computer to this computer to get them all synced. So it took forever to get this started. But yeah, basically from midnight Japanese time, Saturday night every week is going to be back on there, except for when we have special occasions, and occasionally I do it on a different day. But basically the 2-hour weekly live streams should be back to being a thing of the norm. So let's see what comments we're getting as we run towards the end here. Lenny, most trolls, lol. Um, yeah, that's another thing. I'm gonna have to work on the trolls a little bit. We had an exceptional number of trolls today. It's been amazing. CMC, also not your favorite, not biased. Akane was doing some DJing as well. I mean, look, I don't know anything about her DJing, but I'm sure it was the greatest DJing set ever in the history of mankind. But that's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. I don't know. I don't know anything about DJing, but I'm sure it was the best one ever. Give CMC mod status. That won't go bad at all. This actually, do you know what? When CMC first set up the Reddit, I thought that was a rather amusing fact that CMC was basically the top dog on Reddit. But I kind of like that. I like the fact that CMC is the man running the Reddit, because of all places to have CMC style, Reddit that's the one. That's who from our channel are you gonna put front and center on Reddit? Him. Why not? Yeah. I mean, it's almost as safe as putting Bubbles in charge. That's the difference between Bubbles and CMC. CMC's opinions might be completely and utterly against everything I believe, but at least he defends them. Bubbles just he doesn't care if you know why. He talks, and you listen, and you're confused, and then it finishes. And Bubbles will be returning to the channel soon. Guys, anyway, yeah, so we're into the last minute. I am going to so I'm going to bring an end to this. I just wanted to say, yeah, again, I can't word this strongly enough. Just the one serious point. Sorry, Harry said CMC as Discord mod also. Yeah, it was. Did I set up? I set up a Discord, didn't he? I set up a Discord, but then CMC pretty much is the one who's running it. Like Discord and Reddit, he's got that. He's got that under control. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to say in all seriousness, and this is absolutely serious. Again, I know the channel's had its ups and downs, and it means the world to me that you guys have stuck with it. During particular times like now, when I'm between places and I'm working on things, it absolutely makes the world a difference, because sometimes, as you know, when you're ill, where you're living is up in the air, it is occasionally quite stressful. I don't want to bleat and bitch and moan. Certainly I do this because I love it, and I wouldn't complain about it. And I know we're building on something quite big here. It's going to be something which is really going to grow, and it's a bit of a slow phase, but I know it's going to lead to good things, and I'm really glad with what we've got at the moment, even before it does grow anymore. The last couple of days subscriptions have dropped like 4 or 5 points, but that's because I didn't post anything. So I really appreciate that you guys have stuck with it, and I appreciate that you keep on coming out for the live streams and stuff. All I can really say is thank you so much, and we will keep it going, and things are going to get better. 1362, you've just jumped in just as I'm about to say hello, but you said video is getting choppy for me. I've noticed the timer is chopping a little bit, but we're going to draw on into this anyway, and hopefully when I finish it and it gets uploaded, you'll be able to watch it without the choppiness. Hopefully it'll upload it nice and smoothly. So can I call CMC for tech support? You can, if you really think that's going to lead to anything good happening. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in, everyone, and thank you. We've just gone up to 6 likes. Someone just popped another like. Does anyone want to pop another like before I finish this? Anyone want to pop another like on that? Has everyone liked it? Are we going to finish? Is this all the likes? 6 likes is good. I'm okay with 6 likes. All right, guys, thank you so much. I'm gonna round this one off now. Need more clickbait? Please use the following words: amazing, revelatory, astonishing, and I also love those ones where they give away their reaction. It's like, I'm reacting to this thing, and it goes, I love this song on the thumbnail. You're like, well, fuck's the point in watching your video then? I already know what you think of it. Well, I'm pretty sure you're not going to justify it if you summed it up to a headline. I guess my love for actually talking about music properly is ultimately the downside of the growth of this channel. However, I do think it's one of the reasons why we have the best followers and we have the best discussions compared to what I've seen on pretty much any other channel I've visited. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in today, like I say, and we will be back next Saturday, but there's a lot more videos coming. 3 videos have been recorded, and there's definitely going to be 2 tomorrow, so thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, from here in Japan, for now, ciao ciao.